No two ways around it. This has to be the day. What is this? How many of these have we done? We've yet to get a perfect 10 out of 10. Today that changes. Starting the morning off strong. Who won Thursday Night Football last night? I actually do not know the answer to this. I know I think it's the Ravens. All right. I actually was unsure. I knew Jamar Chase went off. Who did Michael Jordan finish his NBA career playing with? The Wizards. All right. Little hodgepodge of questions. This Yankee star batted 184 for the 2024 postseason. That's Aaron Judge. Oh, they're doing him dirty. Come on now. Last week, this hitter broke the record for most consecutive World Series games with a home run. That's got to be Freddie Freeman. All right, we're up to 5. Who has the most scoring titles in NBA history? I think it's Wilt. It's not meant to be, man. I overthink these things so much. Man. Because in my brain, I'm like, it's not going to be Jordan, I don't think. In my brain, that's what my brain said. It's not going to be Jordan. So I didn't pick that. You want to know something? My dumbass would have picked George Gervin next. And I fucking knew that wasn't the answer. Damn. All right, today we had 3 games last night. Nothing too consequential in any of them, if we're being honest. But we'll go over some of them a little bit, and then we'll just do some reaction stuff today. There's a couple articles I wanted to look at. This one right here, Bucks trade targets. So we'll take a peek into that, see what's cooking. A little inside NBA intel. Bleacher Report dropped their power rankings today. We'll take a look at that as well. And then there was an interesting article on NBA.com I wanted to read about 9 teams playing differently this season. I love articles like these. I love diving into the teams that are changing up their play style as the season sort of progresses. Luka's the next Wilt. Love water. Love it. Slightly might be the go-to milking articles. Maybe. Paul has gifted 5 memberships. All right, Paul. Yeah, I haven't covered a milking article. Maybe down the road. Thank you, Paul. You know, that was might come in handy. I'm telling you, in the next week or so, I'm hoping to launch a revamped membership program on this channel and on Patreon. It will be on both. Whichever one you really want to support on. From what I tried, I did some research into what would be better. My research was basically you should do both, because some people just refuse to like leave YouTube. You know, which is understandable, right? But Patreon is a little bit more friendly to the creator. So crazy how many Mav podcasts we have this year. Yeah, that's a big reason why I've taken like a step back when it comes to like strictly covering the Mavs. Because I mean, one, I already do it on Locked On. Two, there's just so many. Is this really Luca's favorite show?
Hey, everybody relax. Whoa. Oh my God, Sarah. Hey.
Walk away. I'm talking to you. What'd you just say to me?
Whoa. Hey, everybody relax. Whoa.
There's no way Luca's watching that. Locked On be the first podcast to hit 1 more billion views. It's possible. They had to CGI romance scenes between actors in the show because they hated each other. Wait, really? Wait, what do you mean CGI romance scenes? How is that even How is that even a thing? Hold on, I gotta look a little bit more into this. What's it called again? Outer Banks? CGI stunt doubles? Okay, I just Google searched Outer Banks romance scenes and I regret doing that. Outer Banks stunt doubles. Stunt double. Wait, hold up. Not the New York Post. Netflix hit show Outer Banks slammed over insane scene. Oh my God, what is this shit website, man? Is there a website that's not shit? Outer Banks fans suspect that stunt doubles were used to film a bizarre scene amid rumors of a cast feud. The hit Netflix show just finished its 4th season, and the speculation began with a scene involving co-stars Rudy Pankow and Madison Bailey. Dude, why on earth would I want you to send me notifications? Rudy, whose character JJ was tragically killed off in the finale. Jesus, hey, whoa, spoiler alert. My God, sorry if anyone's watching this show. The camera angles made it so neither one appeared at the screen at the same time. There have been rumors that when fans began shipping Kiera and JJ and eventually the actors themselves, it caused discomfort for their real-life partners and a strained relationship between the co-stars.
Home. All of us, we made a home.
Hey, you know what's a good name for a baby?
Okay, I regret even looking at that, to be honest with you. I don't even know what I just looked at. So, can you be careful on the election result spoilers? I'm waiting until January 20th to see. Okay, we won't. Hey, no election alert no election spoilers in the chat, guys. All right, let's be respectful. Some aren't caught up yet. I have a friend who's still on the 2012 election, so we're all kind of waiting for him to see 2016. Like, it's all a fun thing. Like, we're just kind of waiting for the moment 2016 hits. That's when it's good. The 2012 one's boring. 2016 is when we really start ramping up. So I'm excited for that. He's gonna love it. Jill Stein. All right, let's get into it. Hi, Side Bias. These lives are a blessing for us Europeans. Live from Italy. Hello, Leonardo. Hello, Italy. That Pop headline. Wimby not worried. Expects Popovich back soon. Have there been any? It's obviously like a health, from what it sounds like, a pretty serious health thing. So we'll respect the privacy. But has there been any updates on that? Because just slightly be in the building tonight. I will not be in the building tonight. No. Be watching the game over on playback.tv/slightly biased. That's where you can check us out. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, November 8th, 2024, 9:49 a.m. Central Standard Time in the beautiful Dallas, Texas. 65 degrees, a little bit rainy today. We're really getting into that fall weather. We're getting into that November bag. It's about time. But we have some stuff to go over. There's only 3 games on the slate last night. Admittedly, I was out playing softball. I mean, just championship game, winning it, champion, another championship under my belt in slow pitch softball. I mean, at this point, we're reaching Michael Jordan territory. We're reaching, what are some other, actually, what we're reaching is like Bill Russell territory, if we're just being honest. What position do you play? Left field. You know, they got me out there anchoring the outfield. It actually was a hilarious and shitty game. The wind was howling. The final score of a slow pitch softball game was 5-4, if that fucking tells you anything. If you know anything about slow pitch softball, it's unbelievably low. I witnessed somebody get his ACL torn, unfortunately. One of our players, it's an unfortunate accident. One of our players, a larger guy, stumbled into first base. We're getting older. Hamstrings might have tightened up on him running to first. Stumbled into first. It's really not funny, but it was kind of funny. Rolled into the first baseman. Rolled into his knee. I'm hoping he didn't tear his ACL. Maybe he was being a little dramatic, but it didn't look good. Anyways, let's get into these games last night. Really what I shared that little slow pitch softball story is to tell you that I did not watch any of these games. So we're just going to touch on them really quickly, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. The Timberwolves beat the Bulls 135-119. I was following this one because it kind of looked like the Bulls might have fucked around and beat the Timberwolves, but the Timberwolves won the fourth quarter 45-24. Pulling out a win in Chicago. The Timberwolves are now 5-3 on the season. The Bulls dropped to 3-6. You've seen too many injuries to not have caused some of these. No, the only injury that I've caused is the one that I directly did to myself, where I got hit in the face with a ball and required stitches. I still have a scar up here from it. It was pretty nasty. But again, I was not. I don't think I've been to blame for any of these injuries. The Bucks finally get a win, snapping their 6-game losing streak, beating the Utah Jazz at home, 123-100. Feel good win. They plug Andre Jackson Jr. into the starting 5. He gets 4 steals, plays 28 minutes. Maybe that's something that they needed. Gary Trent Jr. only plays 8 minutes, so he's super benched, huh? And the San Antonio Spurs beat the Portland Trailblazers 118-105. The Spurs are 4-5 on the season. So, hey, it sounds like Devin Vassell will be making his return this weekend, which is good. I don't know when Jeremy Sohan's going to be back. I don't know when Greg Popovich is going to be back. But Victor Wembanyama was 4 of 13 from the field, 12 points in this game. 4 steals, 3 blocks. I'm going to make a video about Victor Wembanyama later today. I'm going to sit down, and after this is over, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch every single shot attempt that he's attempted so far this season. And I'm going to try to figure out what the fuck is going on with Wemby. What is happening? Not going to lie, I was rooting for the Bucks to lose. Would love to see pandemonium break out over there. Yeah, it would have been funny had they lost. But, we're not haters over here. That's just pure hatred. I was playing pickup ball once, and a guy on the other team tripped and stumbled at half court and fell stumbling out of bounds into the knees of another friend just walking in. Wow. That's God telling you something right there. That's crazy. All right, so those are the games last night. Again, small slate of games. The NBA is terrified of competing with the NFL, so they don't put any marquee games on the Thursday night slate until the NFL season comes to a conclusion. So we're going to look at some articles here. We got a couple, 3 articles that I wanted to take a peek at. This one right here by ESPN, written by our good friends Tim Bontemps and Brian Windhorst of the Hoop Collective. NBA Intel, trade talk, Milwaukee, Embiid updates, Warriors, just Warriors, that's it. And then we have Bleacher Report power rankings that we'll go over, and then we have this one right here, 9 teams playing differently this season by NBA.com. I find that one really interesting, and I'm interested to see which teams, I can already guess some of the teams that are going to be on there, but which teams are playing a different brand of basketball. Got some bedhead going on. Fuck is... Just got a lot going on. Okay, trade talk in Milwaukee. What could this possibly mean? If I had to guess, this is going to be some bullshit. Like, immediately, I'm just going to guess that this article is they have Giannis on the headline picture. So they want you to think, oh, shit, are they going to trade Giannis? It's going to be some horrible Pat Connaughton. They have KJ Martin in the picture. Pat Connaughton for KJ Martin trade. Something terrible like that. Let's get into it. Less than 3 weeks into the NBA season, there are already some potential precarious situations developing around the league. All right, let's cut to the ad. Let's cut the shit. Wait, what? Do I not have ESPN Plus? All right, hold on a second. $11.99 a month? Has it always been this fucking expensive? What? Why do I have to re-log in to all of this shit? All right, hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, we're in. I guess I pay $20 a month for this. There's websites that let you get past that? Okay, well. I think you get this if you have Disney Plus, though. Isn't that how that works? Anyways, sorry, guys. A minute slow start. Is Milwaukee eyeing a trade? Again, they have the pictures of Damian Lillard and Giannis here. I'm going to safely assume that that's not what they're talking about. The speculation is true. The Bucks are indeed starting to canvass the league for a trade, league executives told ESPN. But no, not that trade. The concept of two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo reaching the trade market is ripe for rumors of trade machine computations, but it's not a reality as of now for Antetokounmpo or the Bucks, sources said. Teams have let the Bucks know in recent months they would make an offer for the Greek Freak if that day ever comes. All right? So they're looking for trade help. Is this going to be the stupidest article of all fucking time? Like, can we get some names maybe? Therefore, they're just looking to save some salary, it looks like, from these. VPN Australia gets ESPN for free. Really? Australia doesn't have to pay for ESPN Plus? Why is that? Why does Australia get special treatment? All right, so hey guys, the Bucks are looking to help improve their roster. Wow, that's groundbreaking. Thank God I'm paying $20 a month for that. Seriously. What is the latest with Embiid and the 76ers? Bontemps, the 76ers are 1-6 after losing to the Clippers in Georgia's return to Los Angeles Wednesday at Intuit Dome. The story of the past week, is that what they're calling it? They're not saying the Intuit Dome? It's just Intuit Dome? No the in front? All right, Joel Embiid got fined $100,000 last week for public comments made about his injury. Nurse found a silver lining earlier this week in the wake of Embiid's suspension. At least we know when he's going to play now, Nurse said. That will be Tuesday at home against the New York Knicks in the first game of the NBA Cup. Not the Emirates NBA Cup, if you watched the stream yesterday or whenever that was. Whenever I lost my Bleacher Report streak because I thought it was the Emirates Cup. Tyrese Maxey's out for at least 2 weeks. We actually didn't talk about that. I mentioned that briefly in the video I dropped yesterday. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. But yeah, Tyrese Maxey's injury, I don't know, man. Does this not just scream season from hell? It's so early that it's very possible we look back on this in January and we're like, dude, remember that horrible start to the season? Like, wow, look how far they've come. Very possible. But coming out of the gates like this, and Embiid's getting fined, and you're punching people, and Embiid hasn't played the first couple weeks of the season, and he's already said he's not playing back-to-back, so you know they're going to take it easy on him, and Paul George had to miss time, and now Tyrese Maxey's out, and it'll be what? damn near December, probably December, before we see those three together. The Clippers had a bad start too last year. That is true. That is a good point. There's still a lot of time. 76ers are going to be swept by the Celtics as an 8th or 7th seed. The unsung hero of Phoenix's scorching start. This is Ryan Dunn, who they're talking about, who, by the way, is not going to play in tonight's Mavericks game. So that actually is kind of important. Why strength in numbers is back in the Bay. Ivy is helping creating some early Pistons buzz. Oh, they talk about Wemby here. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that we even touched on this article. This article is shit. I'm sorry that we even started this with that. Let's get into some real articles. I'm sorry, guys. I really thought that would be more interesting than that. I mean, I'm paying $20 a month for that. So I thought it would be a little bit better. That's my bad, guys. That's my fault. I should have realized. All right, NBA Power Rankings, where all 30 teams rank. We'll look at these every Friday. Let's see what Bleacher Report. Andy Bailey. That's the guy on Twitter, right? Who's like the big Nuggets guy? Big Jokic guy? Is that him? Who always posts. I think he was the kitchen sink originator. He's the Jokic guy? Yep, that is him. It is him. Okay, all right. So Andy Bailey. Andy, this is the guy 1,000%. I don't think he created the kitchen sink stat, but he's the one who was tweeting about it last year. That made it a thing. All right, let's see. We're all 30 teams ranked. We're starting hot, number 30, the Utah Jazz, who are 1-7 to start the season with a -15 net rating. Yeah, this is about as bad as it gets. You know, this is what they needed to do, though. Honestly, like this, they needed to rip the Band-Aid off. They are masterful at tanking at the back half of the season, but their problem is they get to the trade deadline around 500, and then tanking just becomes a Herculean task by the end of the season. So just get out the gates terrible, and let's go. Utah got its first win of the season this week, but it's clearly committed to playing the young core the bulk of the minutes, and that's going to lead to a ton of blowout losses. Yeah. Absolutely. 1-7. And a lot of their young core, you know, Walker Kessler had a pretty good start to the season. Keontae George had a good game a couple nights ago, but he's off to a slow start. Cody Williams looks very much like a rookie. Yeah, there's growing things. Kyle Filipowski looks pretty fine, actually, to be honest with you. That looks like a pretty good pick for them. But, you know, they're struggling. Bryce Sensabaugh, I don't know. Taylor Hendricks obviously had that gruesome injury. The Washington Wizards at 29. You know, they're hey, look, I think they're pretty happy if you're a Wizards fan. Your young core looks good. Bilal Coulibaly looks good. We've talked about him ad nauseum. Alex Sarr looks good, actually. Carrington looks good. Like, your rookie class looks really solid. And I think that you feel pretty good about that, actually. So 2-4. The Atlanta Hawks lost to them twice. Hilarious. In a row. The Trailblazers at 28. Really? I'd put the Trailblazers higher. I don't think they're the third worst team in the NBA. Well, let me see who's ahead of them. I don't think the Trailblazers are the third worst team in the NBA. What happened to Denny? He looks bad in Portland. He's in a shooting slump right now. I think other than that, I think Denny looks pretty good. But he's just not hitting shots currently. There probably won't be a ton of opportunities to praise the Portland Trailblazers this season. Yeah. Shaedon Sharpe is back, so that's good. But I'll say this. They've got some young players that look pretty solid. Like Donovan Clingan does look really good. And he has the highest block percentage in the NBA. How about that? I did not know that. DeAndre Ayton may be playing well enough to turn himself into a trade asset after going for 21 points, 10 rebounds against the Spurs. He's averaging 15 points and 11 rebounds. Ooh, Pelicans. Well, what does a trade to the Pelicans look like there? Or what about that could be true, Javier. Last year was really the only time that Deni Avdija looked like a good shooter. Toronto Raptors at 2-7. Here at 27. Yeah, the Toronto Raptors are better than their record suggests. I think I'd agree with that. They played some tight games. They played the Nuggets close 2 times and 2 losses. Is Gafford better than Ayton? From a talent perspective, no. Yes, they've been without Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, Kelly Olynyk. I don't know how much Kelly Olynyk swings things, but yeah. They've been without Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley. They're a better team. And Grady Dick has been really good to start the season. So, 20 points, 2.5 threes a game for Grady Dick. And he's doing things other than shooting threes. Gafford a better fit for Luka, more mobile? Yeah. Don't fall for the Ayton trap. He only plays well to get a contract. Well, he's not in a contract year, is he? Yeah, Dick has been popping off. The Pelicans at 26. Whoa. My God. This feels harsh, but I mean. So Trey Murphy's coming back soon. We know that. Herb Jones will be out for a few more weeks. DeJounte Murray's out for probably another month. CJ McCollum's out for a few more weeks. Ingram's been playing well, and Zion played pretty good a couple nights. Like their loss a few nights ago to the Cavs. They really played a pretty good basketball game, and I think you leave that feeling fine. But their problem is they're so hurt that they're going to have so many of those games where it's just like, yeah, we played well, but if we were healthy, we might have won that game. That's just kind of the story of the Pelicans franchise damn near. All the absences have given Brandon Ingram a chance to juice his trade value, and by February, he may be able to generate enough interest to flip him for a starting caliber center. 24 points, 4.5 assists, 2.5 threes. Does Brandon Ingram for Ayton even make sense? Like, what is that? Do the Trailblazers even entertain that? Dick has been huge. Yeah. It's been pretty big. I don't think the Blazers even entertain that, to be honest with you. Maybe a 3-team trade of some sort. Yeah, I could see them wanting to trade Ayton for sure, but I don't think they would really want Ingram in return. What is the number one need for the Trailblazers? They kind of just need to let their young guys cook. I mean, Scoot hasn't been great to start the season. I mean, Scoot's kind of looking like a bust, damn near. Shaedon Sharpe just came back. Yeah, Rob Williams is on the Blazers. Chicago Bulls at number 25 with a negative 7.5 net rating. They were 18th in the last rankings. They started the season 3-2. They've rattled off 4 straight losses. Yeah, and they're looking terrible. I was a little tiny bit tricked by the 3-2 start. I won't lie to you. I didn't really think that they were great, but I was like, yeah, they might be a play-in team, but they look like shit. And who knows? That might be a play-in team in the East. The Pistons, look at my Pistons climbing up to number 24, huh? Progress, man. Progress. Next year, the goal, let's get in the high teens. And then the year after that, then we can start working. Let's get into the high teens next year. That's the goal. The Pistons have been, they're 3-6. Last year, they didn't get their third win. I forgot. I saw a stat. They didn't get their third win until late in the season. Until late in the season. Yeah, true. If you're high teens in the power ranking, you're in the playoffs in the East. Absolutely. But they're 3-6 with only a -2 net rating. Like they didn't get their third win until December. Wow. They've been, even in their losses, they've been close and been competitive. It's just, can Cade figure out how to play in the fourth quarter of basketball games? That's really it. But Jaden Ivey's been incredible to start the season. My Charlotte Hornets at 23. In this era of fast-paced offenses, volume three-point shooting, and heavy usage for star players, we may have gotten a little numb to gaudy stat lines, but LaMelo Ball is forcing us to take notice. Oh, I've been noticing. Believe you me. LaMelo is now averaging 28 points, 6 assists, nearly 5 rebounds, 4.5 threes a game. Woo! One of the most fun players in the NBA. Josh Green's struggling a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, we've been tuned in. We've been tuned into LaMelo Ball. I have forced you guys at gunpoint, basically, to be tuned into LaMelo Ball. The Brooklyn Nets at 22. They're 4-4. Okay, if we're just going pure power rankings perspective, I feel like they need to be higher. Like, there's some teams that I'm assuming they're going to be behind. Like, for example, the Heat. I think the Brooklyn Nets so far this season have straight up looked better than the Miami Heat. Full stop. If Brooklyn Nets really want to enter the Cooper Flag sweepstakes in earnest, they might need to unload some of their vets sooner than expected. Yeah. That's true. Brooklyn has a positive point differential through 8 games, and 31-year-old point guard Dennis Schroeder is second on the team in total individual plus minus. What would a Dennis Schroeder, like, what is Dennis Schroeder getting in a trade? Wait. Okay. Again, we're doing power rankings. How have the Philadelphia 76ers not been here yet? I know it's Jamal Murray. I know that he probably factors in or like what they had in the preseason as like a reference. The Bucks I could maybe get. But what's the Sixers? They're injured. The return of Paul George. They're 0-2 with him. You think a first round pick for Dennis Schroeder? I don't know. Maybe a shit first round pick. I think the Magic need to be on that phone immediately. Like let's get somebody who can do some stuff for us offensively before Powell comes back. Before we really tank our chances. Couple seconds. Tobias Harrison to the Mavs. Where is this rumor coming from? You? I've never heard that. The Atlanta Hawks here at number 21 with a -5 net rating. Look, I'm high on the Hawks. I had them finishing in the playoff picture, or the play-in picture. I had them as a lock to go over their over on wins. I still feel pretty solid about that. I think I'd have the Nets ahead of them, straight up. I really do. I think I'd have Brooklyn ahead of them. Brooklyn just looks like a little bit more of a competitive team. But hey, Ricochet, 33 points. Oh, wow. Here are the Spurs at 20. Okay. They got the Spurs at 20. They're 4-5. You got to give them some props there. Who are their wins against, though? That's what I'm wondering. They beat the Rockets. They've beat the Jazz, I want to say. Last night they beat the Blazers. Have the Spurs won like an impressive game yet? I would feel better if the Spurs were 4-5, but like Wemby was really popping off to start the season. I would feel fine about this ranking, but I don't know. Oh, they did beat the Timberwolves. That's right. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'd have them a little bit lower, I think. They're also like super injured. Sixers at 19 at 1-6. You have to go lower than them. They got to be in the 20s, man. They're 1-6. They're 1-6. Embiid's not coming back until Tuesday. Maxi's out until December probably. If we're just the good nature, what's the point of a power rankings then? I guess it's you don't want it to be a standings thing. But the Sixers have looked like shit. Like it'd be one thing if the Sixers were just they're losing these games by 1 point, 2 points. They've been so competitive, but they just don't have enough in the end because they're just not. And then once Embiid and Paul George are back, you could just see how they're gonna blossom and spread their wings and fly. That's not what it looks like at all. They look like shit. Other than the Nets, who would you put above the 76ers? I'd put the Hawks above the 76ers. Yeah, now that I'm looking at them. I'm not sure. But they're 1-6. I'd put my Charlotte Hornets over them. I'd put my Detroit Pistons over them. Once we see them beat back and we see it look good, then we can go from there. Miami Heat, 3-4 at 18. They've looked so uninspiring this year. That's just that's what I can say. They're uninspiring. The Atlanta Hawk Tuas. Bravo. Vibes are off with the Sixers? Yeah. Very off. Heat at 3-4. Best thing for them, Tyler Hero has been fantastic to start the season. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo have logged 165 minutes together, and they are -6.5 in those possessions. Yeesh. They'll have a get-right game tonight All right. DQ saying that the Miami Heat have a get-right game tonight. Let's see who they're playing. I can only guess. Don't tell me they're playing the fucking Nuggets. The Heat are playing the Nuggets tonight. Oh, my God. Yeah, you guys are 5-3, man. Save it for the judge. Save it. That's hilarious. Does that mean Tyler Hero should go back to being a heat check scorer off the bench? I don't think you can do that. He's been your best player. Is it time to take Nikola Jovic out of the token starter role? Yes. Unfortunately. Yes. Orlando Magic at 17. Oh, they got to be way lower than this. They have to be way lower. They got to be way lower than this, dude. Again, if this is power rankings, we're not looking at the standings. They got to be. I would actually have the Magic currently as maybe a bottom 6 team, maybe even worse. I just their offense has been so bad since Paolo has gone out, and really over the course of the whole season. But the Orlando Magic was solid before Paolo went out. Yeah, I agree. But Paolo's going to be out until like maybe January, December at the best. If they just stay somewhat, which is why I think they should maybe look to make a move sooner rather than later, just like a Dennis Schroeder move, just to make themselves a little bit more competitive, just so you can win enough games so that when Paolo comes back, you're in a position to, make a playoff push. 26% from 3 for Wagner. Oh, brother. This is a golden opportunity for Franz to make an all-star game, something I thought could happen this year. The Clippers at 16, yeah, this feels about right for the Clippers. They feel like a middle-of-the-pack team, and in the NBA, that's a good thing. Like, there's a lot of great teams, good teams, so being, like, middle of the road is fine. They're competitive. They play good defense. Zubats has been great. Solid anchor, Vitsa Zubats, and several switchable forwards and wings like Derrick Jones Jr., Terrence Mann, Amir Coffey, Nicholas Batum. They're 5th in points allowed per 100 possessions. Wait, why are the Bucks 15, bro? Like, I'm sorry. There's no way the Bucks should be ahead of the Clippers. Ahead of the Magic, fine. The Heat, okay. I want to say real quickly about the 76ers. You wouldn't fucking believe this. And I don't believe it. In fact, I don't even know how they have it. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have the Philadelphia 76ers pick this upcoming season. Now, granted, it is top 6 protected. But they have it. How? Does anybody know how? Is that from the Horford salary dump? That's what I'm thinking in my brain. How on earth did they get that pick? I really kind of think it's from the Al Horford salary dump. Either that or it was involved in some other trade. Let's look at the Al Horford, if it's Al Horford. Yep, it's the Al Horford salary dump. December 8th, 2020. Traded by the Philadelphia 76ers with Theo Maledon, Vasily Micic. Oh, Micic was in that trade. Okay. And a 2025 first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Terrence Ferguson, Danny Green, and Vincent Poirier. The 2025 first-round pick is top 6 protected. I mean, that's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. The man on the screen. Fuck you, Paul George. Honestly, dude, you ruined the NBA. You ruined it. Like that trade, and now you're on the Sixers and they're shit, and then they're going to get the 7th overall pick in this draft. Totally fucking spoiler of the show, ass biased. I did not know that article was just going to flat out spoil the show like that. That's my bad. Like that was crazy that they straight up spoiled it like that in the article. The Milwaukee Bucks at 15. Okay, let's see. The Milwaukee Bucks were in desperate need of a get-right win, and the Utah Jazz obliged on Thursday. There's no points for beating the Utah Jazz at all. None to speak of. So, okay, whatever. With the worst team in the league at Pfizer form, Milwaukee scored 123 points, the highest total since the opening night win. Okay. Damian Lillard, 34, and Giannis, 31. Each went for 30-plus. They've done that multiple times this season in losses. And perhaps most interesting of all, second-year wing Andre Jackson Jr. entered the starting five and provided a defensive boost that had to intrigue head coach Doc Rivers. Yeah, I said last night, I said yesterday that could be interesting. There are still plenty of concerns, especially if Giannis is hampered by an abductor strain for much longer, but Thursday was a decent reminder of how explosive Milwaukee's top two can be. I was about to say, albeit against a terrible opponent. Yes, I don't really think you can take anything away from games against the Jazz. They're awful. They're awful. I'm just so worried. I said this in my video yesterday, man. They look old and their defense is terrible. Like, they have all of the signs of a terrible old team. But, honestly, Andre Jackson, the starting five, is interesting. I will say that. The Lakers are at 14, 4-4. Yeah, this feels about right. They have a -4 net rating. The good vibes that attended the Los Angeles Lakers 3-0 start have faded a bit. Yeah. We're about, I don't know, 2 more losses before we start fire JJ Redick chance. No, that's not true. I think they love JJ Redick. I really do. That's what I can gather from Lakers fans, from Lakers Nation. AD does have plantar fascia. It doesn't sound like he's going to miss too much time, if any time, with it. But, yeah, that's not a fun one. Their depth looks bad. I'd have them a little bit lower than this, actually. I'd actually, straight up, I'd have the Clippers ahead of the Lakers right now. Especially with the AD injury looming. The Pacers here at 13. This feels like a pretty fair spot for Indiana. A couple of really nice wins against the Mavs, against the Celtics. So, they're figuring some stuff out. Tyrese Halliburton's dealing with a back injury. What's her name? Caitlin Miller? Is that her name? I follow her on Twitter. She's a really good follow. I think that's her name. I could be wrong, though. Caitlin Cooper. She does Indiana Pacers stuff. She's been saying for a while that it looks like Tyrese Halliburton has been dealing with a back injury. And it does kind of make sense. He looks slower than usual. New York Knicks at number 12. Yeah, this is fair. This is a fair spot. They're better than the record showed. Their 3-4 record indicates. They're going through some stuff. We talked about them yesterday. Grizzlies at 11, 5-4, outside the top 10. They're such a wish-wash team, right? But yeah, they're 5-4. They've had some really impressive performances, and they're still just kind of dealing with the absence of so many guys. That the fact that they're above 500 is pretty impressive. Back injury, he really is a modern Steve Nash. Yeah, he really is. Houston Rockets here at 10. Let's see who's ahead of them, because I would maybe have them a little bit higher than 10. Plus 7.5 net rating. They are top 5 in net rating. I said yesterday they're one of only 4 teams top 10 in offensive and defensive rating. Oh, not only that, they're top 7 in both. How about that? Top 7 in both. They've looked really good to start the season. Fred VanVleet was really good on Wednesday night. Yep, really good. I really like this team. Amin Thompson's looked really good in his minutes. Şengün has been so disappointing. Rockets are good, but they're not on TV, so they'll get screwed on rankings. I really do think, though, they beat the Mavs. I mean, they beat the Mavs' ass. The Mavs did almost come back, but outside of that, who have their wins been against? You have the Grizzlies, second game of the season, Spurs, Knicks, Spurs. All right, that's really not bad. They kind of shitted on the Knicks, by the way, in embarrassing fashion. Then Ime Udoka after the game was like, "Yo, we knew we could drive on Cat all day. We knew that we could drive on him." Sacramento Kings at number 9. Yeah, this is fair as well. DeMar's looked really good to start the season for them. And in the fourth quarter, they they really turn it on. Now, their wins, if we're going to do this for every team, Trailblazers, Jazz, Hawks, Heat, Raptors. But they're taking care of business. They're looking good. Hey, Sidebice, will you marry me? Sure. I'm easy like that. But yeah, those three, Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and DeMar DeRozan, are playing pretty well alongside one another. We mentioned Sabonis a couple nights ago. First player in NBA history to have a triple-double without missing a shot and without turning the ball over. So as efficient as it gets. Denver Nuggets here at number 8. The Denver Nuggets got off to an 0-2 shaky start. They're 5-1 since then. They're starting to figure things out, and then a nice win against the Oklahoma City Thunder without Jamal Murray, without Aaron Gordon. And maybe they're back. Here we go. Jokic, he surged into first place in Basketball Reference MVP tracker. Here we go. We did not think it was possible, but here it comes, folks. To be fair, Eddie Bailey is a massive, massive Jokic guy. Jokic is number 1. Sabonis is number 2. Tatum, Shea, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Devin Booker, J-Dub, really? Anthony Davis, Buddy Hield. J-Dub? It's a little surprising. Sabonis is having an underrated season, yes, but this is all well, of course Luke is not on here. He hasn't been good. MVP good. I mean, if Jokic averages 28, 13.5, and 11, it's going to be pretty hard to not give it to him. Wait, was Buddy Hield on there? Oh, yeah, Buddy Hield. Yeah, this is why you don't look at early season MVP trackers. Remember there was an early season Defensive Player of the Year tracker one year that had Jamal Murray top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year. Do you guys remember that? Minnesota Timberwolves at number 7. Anthony Edwards having a great start to the season. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle both play off each other incredibly well. Julius Randle has played really well to start this season. Edwards is averaging 5 threes made per game. He's on pace to break Stephen Curry's all-time record of 402 threes in a single season. I doubt that will happen, but that would be actually kind of nuts. The Mavs here are top 6. They've dropped a spot. I think that's fair. They're on pace for 50 wins. And the rest of the league should maybe be a little bit worried about this being the worst version of this team. That's actually a fairly good point. They've jumped out to the start, which includes a road win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Despite Luka Doncic being nowhere near hitting his stride through 8 games, his averages for points, 28.5, rebounds, 8, and assists, 8, are down from last season, and he's shooting just 45% on twos and 32% from deep. All those marks are likely to creep up over the course of the season, and Dallas will be even tougher to beat because of it. All right. Power rankings should be the West top 15, East bottom 15. The Suns at number 5. They've been great to start this season. Absolutely think they've been a top 5 team. Golden State Warriors at number 4. Yeah, at a certain point, you just can't ignore them. They're 7-1 to start the season. Plus 15.5 net rating. So they're annihilating teams. Pretty difficult to ignore that. So who's in the top 3 then? So we have Celtics, Thunder. Who's the other team? Oh, Cavs, duh. Cavs here at number 3, 9-0, plus 12 net rating. I think the Cavs should be ahead of the Celtics. If we're just doing early season power rankings, toss out some of our preconceived notions and let's just go based off of what we've seen. I think the Cavs should be ahead of the Celtics, personally. But a perfect 9-0 start to the season. The Cavs still don't feel like a top-tier title contender, but we may not be able to say that much longer. Cleveland is first in points per 100 possessions and 9th in points allowed per 100 possessions. The core 4, Donovan Mitchell, nearly 24 points a game. Darius Garland, nearly 20. Evan Mobley, 17. Jared Allen, 15. all averaging at least 15 points per game. And the bench is getting real contributions from Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome. Yeah, Ty Jerome's been a revelation. And Sam Merrill. All right. I think part of the reason why we say they don't feel like real title contenders is because it's the Cavs. Like, we've seen this team. We've seen this team do that. But, yeah. Oklahoma City Thunder at number 2 and the Boston Celtics at number 1. Any, And we got to throw in a Jokic stat there at the end. All right, I respect it. I really do respect it. Any qualms there? Cavs vibes feel way different, better to me. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have to remember, they're still a young team. Darius Garland's still young. Mobley's still young. Jared Allen's still relatively young. Even Donovan Mitchell's not, like, past the prime of his career. So, you know, they're probably just getting better. Cavs should be 1, Celtics 2 or 3. I think Cavs should probably be higher than the Celtics. I personally have the Thunder at 1, even though they did just lose. Will Dallas ever be at number 1 this season? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, these are the top 3 teams to start the season. Absolutely. Still fucking with them White Claws, man? It's been a minute? No. I'm not still fucking with them White Claws. All right. We'll close out today's show by looking at this right here. NBA storylines. 9 teams. 9 teams playing differently this season. In the season's early going, these teams have switched up their strategy in hopes of making a big on-court impact. They're starting with the Chicago Bulls, and I'll tell you right now what they're going to say. The Bulls are playing incredibly fast. One of the fastest teams in the NBA to start the season. They bomb threes more than pretty much anybody else in the season in the league so far. They don't make them, and their offense struggles because of that. But yes, that is something that they're doing. The other three-point rate shooting, more three-pointers increases the likelihood of a scoring drought or. Zach with the $5 donation. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the donation, Zach. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Scoring drought or scoring binge. We've mentioned that 43-point attempts per game number. Just how many teams are approaching that number this year versus in years past. Last year when only one team did it. Let's check in on that stat, actually, before we dive into this article. How many teams are getting up 33s per game to start this season? The Celtics are at an absurd 51. Then you have the Hornets at 44, the Bulls at 42, the Warriors 41, Minnesota 40, Brooklyn Nets 40. So you got 6 teams right now. That was a higher number last week. This will go down over time. Dude, 51 threes a game is insane. Absolutely insane. Number 1, Chicago Bulls, a whole new offense. DeMar DeRozan's departure with his 547 mid-range attempts. He was a mid-range demon. Was bound to change how the Bulls play, but their offense has completely overhauled in Billy Donovan's 5th season as a coach. That is what's crazy. It's not like they got a new coach. They got Billy Donovan still. The Bulls have seen the league's biggest jump in pace by a huge margin, ranking first, 106 possessions per 48 minutes, after ranking 28th last season. Damn. They're getting out in transition 10 more times a game. By the way, this article was written by John Schumann. John Schumann. They've also seen the biggest jump in ball movement, averaging 309 passes. Look, I'm going to be real. I've said this before. I do not care about passes as a stat whatsoever. Third biggest drop in offensive rebounding percentage. This, of course, affects their pace because fewer offensive rebounds. Offensive boards equals shorter possessions. Okay, interesting. This is funny. New and not so improved offense. That's good. Charlotte Hornets, more threes and rebounds, and less ball movement. Well, LaMelo's back. This one is always going to change. Their numbers are always going to change because LaMelo is back in the picture. Hornets have seen the league's biggest drop in ball movement, averaging just 299 passes per 24 possessions. Again, ball movement to me, I mean, there are teams that play in a movement style. Think the Golden State Warriors. Think like the Denver Nuggets as well. Just sort of how many times they pass the ball in a single possession. But then I feel like a lot of this has to do with the fact that you don't have too many guys that are capable of creating for themselves offensively, which is typically the mark of a bad team. Hopefully the Mavs give us a reason to fail No Nut November tonight. One player who can't get open by themselves passing to someone else who isn't open. Yeah. They've seen the third biggest. Dan has gifted 50 memberships. Holy shit. Dan. Oh, my Lord. W, Dan. Hey, dubs in the chat for Dan. Wow, we're getting Dan. Hold on, we gotta go to the Slightly Delusional Club really quickly here. We're putting a statue up for Dan outside of the club. That's what we're doing. We're putting a statue up. It's under construction currently. Big W's. Dub. I feel like the dub thing is something that I'm going to start saying ironically so much that I start saying it unironically, and that's not a point that I want to get at. That is not a point that I want to find myself at. No, I'm not getting to that point. It'll look better than Wade's. Oh, for sure. We're going to make it the greatest statue of all time. Dan, meet the Dave statue. Is that what that statue is called? Dave? That can't be right. There's no way people were named Dave in the ancient times. Hair's looking good slightly. Thank you. I saw somebody on Twitter said I have stringy hair. What does that even mean? Like my hair... Stringy. I've never heard that. My hair is very volume, very, very thick. Almost too thick at times. What up, Dave? What is a membership question? As of right now, it doesn't. It's just a way to support the channel. You don't really get anything. Except there's some emotes that you can grab. But it doesn't really do much. Turns your name green. However, in the coming weeks, we will be adding. I need to mute this. That way we can continue with the show, but they're still going to pop up on the screen. But we will be adding membership perks for sure. All right. Huge shout out to Dan in the chat. Unbelievable. What an incredible guy. Podcast name again is slightly early. Just look at the title of the show. All right. We're talking about the Hornets. They've also seen the second biggest jump in offensive rebounding percentage. That's actually kind of shocking because Mark Williams hasn't played a game yet. I'm interested to see what the reasoning for that is. What do you guys think the reasoning for that is? Yeah, if you didn't get a gift of membership right there, that's unfortunate because there were already a handful of members in here, and yeah, that was about a quarter of the stream that Dan just gifted a membership to. Los Angeles Lakers, more ball movement, more switching. Well, this was to be expected with J.J. Redick. He wanted to move that ball around. I don't even know how you get them. It's just pure luck, I think. Another first-time head coach, J.J. Redick, has made some changes in L.A. The Lakers haven't changed much in regard to pace or three-point rate, but the Lakers average 336 passes per 24 minutes of possessions. The league ninth highest rate. All right, these passing stats, dude. Tap the 50 gifted icon in the chat and make sure you allow gifts. Oh, that's true. Some people might not allow that. After ranking 29th in offensive rebounding percentage last season, they're 18th this season. All right. crashing the boards. J.J. Redick openly said that he wanted to crash the glass more from the corners, from the wings, and stuff like that. Defensively, the Lakers have switched 36% of ball screens, the league highest rate by a healthy margin, up from 22%, which was 20th last season. Interesting. Anthony Davis is switching more on the perimeter as well. Now, that's interesting because their defense has been awful. But I've seen some stats from Lakers people where their half-court defense is fine. It's their transition defense that is just abysmal and putrid. And that's kind of being an older team as well. J.J. Redick is pissed off at some of the guys' effort last night. Or a couple nights ago, I guess. It doesn't feel like D'Angelo Russell's long for this roster, huh? It doesn't feel like that's the case. The Lakers are currently 11th in defensive half-court, or defensive rating in the half-court, which is good. That's a good number. For a frame of reference, the Thunder are number 1 with a 76 defensive rating in the half-court. That's unbelievable. The Mavs are 3rd, in case you're wondering. The transition defense is where things are ugly for this Lakers team. They are dead last. Dead last. Yeah, half-court's more important in the playoffs. That's true. But they've been a very poor transition defense to start the season. Memphis Grizzlies trading threes for paint attacks. A lot of that's going to have to do with John Morant being back in the picture. The Grizzlies have seen the league's biggest drop in three-point rate, taking just 36% of their shots from beyond the arc, 4th lowest, down from 42%, 5th highest last season. They need to shoot more threes. I don't think that's very much sustainable. Well, John Morant back, they've seen the league's biggest jump in the percentage of their shots that have come in the paint, and its biggest jump in field goal percentage in the paint. That's to be expected, I think. Morant ranks 5th in drives per game and has the ridiculous highlights, but Jaren Jackson Jr. leads the team with 11.7 points in the paint per game, having shot much better there, 66% than last season, 50%. That was to be expected as well. A shot diet's going to be a lot easier. Rookie Zach Edey, meanwhile, ranks 6th with 17.2 points in the paint per 36 minutes. Not surprising either. He's a fucking big behemoth. Here, let me move this so you guys can read the article. Look at that. Look at that handsome guy. Oh, we got through all 50. Hey, clap it up, Dan. Clap it up. Not surprisingly, the Grizzlies have had the league's most improved offense by a healthy margin, ranking 6th on that end of the floor and scoring 9 more points per 100 possessions than last season. 5 more teams of note. With the addition of Russell Westbrook, the Nuggets have seen the league's second biggest jump in pace. All right, that's actually interesting to me. They averaged 105.6 possessions per 48 minutes with him on the floor and just 99 with him off. All right, that's a little bit interesting, I must admit. Despite the departure of Karl Anthony Towns, the Timberwolves have seen the league's second biggest jump in three-point rate. Well, that has a lot to do with Anthony Edwards just letting that fucking thing loose. I mean, he's at, 15 threes a game? Suns have seen the 4th biggest jump in three-point rate and the league's biggest drop in offensive rebounding percentage. Okay. That probably has to do with Tyus Jones. Jamal Murray being out is a bigger reason. That could be true as well, DQ. The Spurs have seen the league's biggest drop in pace while also seeing its biggest change in pick and roll coverage, according to Second Spectrum Tracking. They're in drop coverage less than they were last season, though that's mostly about Zach Collins at the level of the screen more and not Victor Wembanyama, still mostly in drop. That's interesting. That's an interesting little... He shoots 11 and makes 5, which is a league leader. And is Walden, yeah. I mean, if he's hitting them, why not? Like, I don't know. Everyone's upset about it, or some people are upset about it on Twitter, and it's just like, I mean, he's hitting them, though. It'd be one thing if he was missing them. But if he's hitting them at a high clip, what's the point? The Raptors have seen the league's biggest jump in offensive rebounding percentage and its 5th biggest jump in ball movement while seeing the 4th biggest drop in three-point rate. I don't know if dropping three-point rate is something you want to be doing in this climate, truth be told. But this was an interesting little article. It's always interesting early season to see which teams are changing their style of play. And just something to keep an eye out moving forward. I don't get why Wemby drops. If you manage to beat him, you're still probably going to get blocked. I think he drops because he's so big that he just disrupts everything. Like, if he's in a drop, he could still probably contest a pull-up. He could still contest a floater while taking away a lob entirely. Just has that length. Like, I think the idea is him being his size with his wingspan, he could take away anything from the ball handler while also being able to break up a lob in the process. Rare talent. But I'm about to watch. How many attempts would it take for you to score on Wemby? I mean, is he playing his hardest defensively? If the answer to that question is yes, I would not score on Wemby. It wouldn't. I don't think. Maybe if I just chunked one up, it would go down. One would go down. If I was just doing like hook shots from 3-point land, maybe one would eventually go. But if he was like sagging off me a little bit, maybe I could step back and just bomb a 3 and hope for the best. But ultimately, probably none. Bully ball works when it's like a 6'8" forward who's strong, not when it's a 6'2" guy. Yeah, you would have to be doing trick shots against Wendy, hoping for the best. All right, we do have a busy slate of games tonight. I believe there are 12 games total. There might even be more than that. There's some pretty good ones, including our Dallas Mavericks, my Dallas Mavericks, I guess I should say. Oh, wow, the Mavs play at 6:30 on ESPN. I did not know this was an ESPN game. That sucks. Mavs Suns 6:30 on ESPN. The Mavs are currently 2.5-point favorites, which is interesting. No PJ Washington, no Derek Lively for the Mavs, but no Ryan Dunn for the Suns, which is interesting. The Pacers play the Hornets. Yeah, something tells me that'll be must-watch television. The Hawks play the Pistons. Something also tells me that'll be must-watch League Pass television. Pelicans and Magic at 6 p.m. as well. Nets, Celtics, Warriors, Cavs. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That is, that's a spicy one right there. Warriors, Cavs at 6:30 in Cleveland. Bucks and Knicks. That's a pretty fun one as well. I feel like whoever loses that game is going to be very upset. In New York, Wizards and Grizzlies. Rockets and Thunder. That's a pretty fun one. In OKC, Trailblazers versus Timberwolves. Again, Heat versus Nuggets. 76ers and Lakers. That's on ESPN. Clippers and Kings. That's a pretty fun one to close out the night at 9 p.m. So it should be a pretty good night of basketball. We will be live on playback.tv/slightlybiased to watch the Mavs game. So make sure you guys come and hang out. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. And I'm about to drop a video later today where I'm going to be watching or I'm assuming I'm going to drop a video later today. I still have I have a car thing that I have to figure out, but I don't think that'll take too much time. Great slate of games, which means it's going to be a lot of blowouts. Yeah. Warriors had Celtics, Cavs, Thunder in a row, and they play the Mavericks on Tuesday. It's not the alternator. It was a battery problem. I tried jumping it like 12 times. And it didn't work. So there was something in the battery. I don't know. They fixed it. It cost a lot of money. Yeah, my Lamborghini's in the shop. Lambo's in the shop. All right, folks. I don't know if I got a new bat. I don't know. They told me what they needed to do, and I said, all right, do whatever you need to do to get this car running again. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what they did. Oh, you need more blah, blah, blah fluid. Can the car drive without it? Yeah, but it's going to okay. Then no, I don't need it. Thank you, though. I don't need a car. I can forest walk, teleport. Okay, good for you. Good for you. All right, folks, that'll do it for me. All of the OGs, thank you guys very much. Could have spent your Friday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. Dan, the man. We call him the Danimal, folks. I call him the Danimal. 50 gifted subs. Unbelievable. Paul with 5 gifted subs. Zach with a donation. Once I shout out one, I feel like I have to shout out all. But thank you guys so much. Never have to do that, but hosting on tremendously makes me feel so good. I'll see you guys tonight. Video dropping later today. Make sure you guys gas that up when it drops. And slightly early, we'll be back on Monday. We don't do any weekend shows, so we'll be back 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. Monday. Love you all. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.